This week on Fun on the Sun Coast, we're going to bring you influential rock bands from Florida.
Rock on!
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for watching Fun on the Sun Coast. My name is Matt.
My name is Jen.
Valerie Theater. Share our show. Hey, if everybody that liked our page shared it with one friend, we would double the number of viewers of our show.
And Matt,
one friend only.
And Matt will cook you dinner.
Thank you. Tacos. Leftover meat and tacos.
There you go.
So, influential rock bands of Florida.
This is so cool.
I love this stuff, and I hope many of you are going to be interested in this. We don't think of Florida in terms of a rock hub, but in the 70s especially,
Southern rock.
we blew a whole bunch of these huge Southern rock bands that became, I think it was the heralding the end of rock and roll, because I believe rock and roll is largely dead, unfortunately, in our country.
Unfortunately, yes, that's
So
true.
anyways, I want to give a little tribute out to some of these bands. They all came from Jacksonville. For some reason, Jacksonville was popping out all these groups one after another. And one of them, who was real popular and was one of the later bands I'll start with, is 38 Special. Have you heard of them?
Well, I have. Yes, I have.
They got their start in the 70s, but really their main songs, like Hold On Loosely, were from the 80s.
Yes.
And let me hit you with one more thing, because in case you talk about the next one, I want to give you one more thing. Eagles, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're considered by some people to be a Southern rock band.
Correct.
And when Howard Stern had Don Henley on his show a number of months ago, he asked if they were a country band, right?
They kind of sound
a lot of country songs. Yeah. So, anyways, Eagles too. They would have been a little bit later, but another Southern rock band. So, Southern rock bands. What's the next one?
Leonard Skinner. Wow, the most famous and popular of all the rock bands.
Play some Skinner, man. How many times has that been said?
Exactly, from Jacksonville too, which is so cool. And at the height of their popularity, there was an airplane disaster in 1977 and took out 3 of their band members.
There are lots of bands in the 60s and the 70s this happened to, and Leonard Skinner was one of them.
Right.
They hired these private planes to jet people around, and boom, 3 of the members. And then it's the shuffling of the different band members, but they're still out and about. And
there's a lot of tribute bands too.
Oh.
So,
well, the big songs everyone knows are Sweet Home Alabama and Free Bird. Quintessential rock songs in the Southern rock genre.
Iconic.
And then the next one, so Leonard Skinner, if there was one cornerstone of Southern rock, it's Leonard Skinner. The other cornerstone would be the Allman Brothers band. The Greg and Dwayne Allman are from Daytona Beach.
That's right.
Greg's a young kid. He starts playing guitar. Then Dwayne, he quit school to play his guitar. Mm-hmm. They moved to Macon, Georgia, to start playing some music with some other good old boys.
What was in Macon?
I don't know. Another one of these musicians, these Southern rockers. They went to Jacksonville and got their launch in Jacksonville.
Wow, how cool.
Their songs, a couple of these huge groups, Ramblin' Man. Everyone knows the song Ramblin' Man. But the Allman Brothers weren't just a Southern rock band. They were also one of these jam bands. That was also the beginning of where they would just play for 20 minutes of solo. And Ramblin' Man has some of that.
A long version, a long leg of it.
And what's interesting is the Allman Brothers actually did a tour with the Grateful Dead.
That's
so Grateful Dead is probably the jam band of all the jam bands, but Allman Brothers were another one of those. Dwayne Allman was killed in another person. He was killed in a motorcycle accident, unfortunately.
That was awful, yeah.
And that's when the band, it's another one of these groups where they have a chart. Here's the chart, I'll show it to you. And the little lines that show this musician played for 2 years, got sick of him, he quit, came back 5 years later, but it's all these different roster of musicians that play for these bands.
They shuffled them around.
That's the Allman Brothers. What's the next one?
I think one of the most famous that I recall when I first moved here was Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, who's from actually Gainesville, correct?
And he's probably the most successful.
Now, when you were up in Gainesville, was he still in the... No,
he was
already
making records in the 70s.
Wow.
He coming up, you think of some of, in the 80s especially, although I saw him when I was a college student at the University of Florida, and he played forever, and it was a great time.
Yeah.
Tom Petty, what was interesting about him is that he's a huge Elvis fan.
This is so neat. I love this story.
And he became a fan. His uncle, they're all from Gainesville, he was working in Ocala on this movie. They were shooting a movie in Ocala. So he went down to go hang out on the set. I maybe got to meet Elvis. He was 11 years old.
Yep.
The movie was Follow That Dream.
Filmed right across the street.
Yeah, so the parts they were shooting here in Inverness, they'd go up and shoot in Ocala and shoot that whole movie.
Awesome.
So he got to see Elvis when he was 11.
And he was a huge Beatles fan too. So
and that's what got him to do music. And he's still touring, and it's amazing. He's prolific how he does that.
He looks great too. All right, what you got next?
The last one, I never listened to this group. But
I did. in
When you
school.
listen to them, they're great. Molly Hatchet. I don't like their name, and I thought
It
they were
does,
like
it
a heavy
sounds
metal
little,
band.
Yeah, it does. It sounds
when I was
heavy
a
metal.
kid. But they're not. They're another jam band. They're Southern rockers. They were founded by these two guitarists, Dave Lubeck, H-L-U-B-E-K, and another guy named Steve Holland. Molly Hatchet came out the same time as 38 Special. They're the later, as the Southern rock thing was kind of rolling over. And they were from Jacksonville also. And
How ironic.
Jacksonville, Florida. How that ended
would've
up
thought?
like that. But we have lots of, I didn't mention Jim Morrison.
Yes, absolutely. From the
He's-
Doors.
He went to Florida State at one
Crazy.
point. Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's from Melbourne. We got lots of big time of all genres of musicians that come from Florida. So we have a lot to be proud of. But
Homegrown.
Southern rock, thank you very much.
Yes.
That was the
Long
end.
gone,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
But they're still out there playing.
They are.
The semblance of these groups, 38 Special is still out there. So anyways, thanks a lot, guys, for doing everything you could for rock and roll and for the great state of Florida.
Thank you very much.
And Jen, thanks for coming today.
Anytime.
Share us with your friends. We need more viewers. And we'll
More
see you
likes.
later having fun on the Sun Coast.
Bye.
Bye-bye.